came here for the first time 5 years ago when I was working on a story about the survivors, and their journey has been so complicated in all of this. They have a lot of questions still. They were fighting for services that they thought they were going to have 5 years after Pulse, and they were all gone at that point. But their stories have stuck with me, and how resilient they all are.
Yeah, these are people who have, loved again, lived again. They're thriving, they're growing. This one always gets me. They've danced again. I mean, imagine, they were dancing that night.
They're courageous.
And to find, that courage and that resiliency, all while living with a trauma that most of us can't even imagine.
So 5 years ago, I met a few survivors, and I caught up with them again recently, and they're working at their own pace, but they're moving forward in their healing journeys and looking towards the future. And it was just heartwarming to see that they're finding a life after what happened to them.
I do hope to be completely healed in certain ways.
People say time heals all wounds, but when you've survived one of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history,
I don't think I will ever heal.
How long does it take to repair the physical and emotional scars left behind?
Just basically trying to survive each day with the best possible positive attitude.
All the positivity that possibly I could put out and take in is what I'm about now.
Pulse survivors Leo Melendez and Norman Casiano have both been learning to live again after the trauma of that night. I first sat down with them 5 years ago to learn about their lives after Pulse.
I could have a better position, I could have, making more money, if you want to say. But due to the lack of the handicap place that I am now, even though I don't want to put myself as a handicapped person, but I am.
Even then, Leo knew life would never look the same again.
The little things that you take for granted as a normal person are the hardest challenging that I go through every day.
10 years have now passed since Leo walked into the Pulse nightclub with Javier Jorge Reyes, the last time he saw his good friend alive.
I do remember I got shot first in the leg, because when he was telling all this, I remember saying, ow, my leg, and then he repeated again, just be quiet, throw yourself on the floor.
After that, Leo remembers waking up in the hospital 3 weeks later. His recovery has been called a miracle.
Without God, I would not be standing where I am right now.
A swirling scar is still visible on the back of his head, where one of 3 bullets hit him that night. He lost his short-term memory, his lower field of vision, and 99% of his hearing in his left ear, 50% in his right. He wears a hearing aid, but still struggles to communicate.
Due to my financial situation, I haven't been able to replace it because hearing aids are very expensive. And the last hearing aid that I look into it cost me nearly $4,000.
A bullet also tore through Leo's left leg. Surgeons had to rebuild it. He can now walk again, but not like before, which led to a hip replacement late last year, his 9th surgery since Pulse. Still, Leo made the decision early on not to dwell on what happened.
I can either be negative and throw myself in a bed and be depressed, or I can smile and say, I can do this, even though it's hard, even though it's challenging, even though it's painful.
And when the city offered Leo a chance to tour the nightclub one last time before it was torn down in March, he declined.
To me, that just was gonna bring sadness to go see something and to remember that I was there, that I saw one of my good friends die right next to me.
Instead, he walks in the annual community Rainbow Run, cherishes time with family and friends, and the little moments in life.
Just to see my daughter smile, that brings me a big joy. What brings me joy now, believe it or not, is the littlest thing. A beautiful day outside, just feeling the nice crispy air in your face, that beautiful sunrise, that brings me joy.
Leo dreams about his future. He wants to write a book about his story of survival and resilience.
I want to give people that courage that if there's something dramatic happened to them, to try to look at the positive things of life and don't give up.
Giving up was never an option for Norman either. Still haunted by the memories, those first 5 years after Pulse were tough.
I feel like my biggest moment in the 5 years has been getting this apartment and living on my own, because prior to that, I felt like I wasn't in control.
But just weeks ago, we met again in the same apartment, the same room, yet a different Norman was sitting in front of me.
Do you feel more like Norman pre-Pulse now?
You could say that. You could say that, yes. It's like a 2.0 version of the person that existed prior to Pulse. Yes, I definitely am more full of life, ready to like just keep experiencing.
The PTSD, anxiety, depression, and nerve damage from being shot in the back haven't gone away.
The healing is a constant. You know, there are still bad days and there are still good days.
Weekly therapy has helped, and so has rediscovering old passions.
My cousin and I started a catering business together, so I got back into cooking. I got back into what I love to do.
Los Cugini Cuisine, a lunch catering business much like the one his dad used to have, a love letter to his father and his heritage.
It sparked that creativity back in me. That's kind of something that also helped bring me to where I am now. It allowed me to like use all these things that have been trapped in here while I'm thinking, you know, that it wasn't what I wanted anymore. It was actually what I needed.
He also needed community, which he's found in a place he didn't expect, EDM music festivals.
They accepted me with open arms, and it kind of just like changed the trajectory of everything.
Once afraid of letting people get too close, afraid of losing people he loved, like all those he lost at Pulse, Norman is finally letting his guard down.
What is up, Looking for Love? My name is Norman. I feel like I am one of the best candidates for your show, and that's why I'm making this video, and that's why I'm auditioning.
That's Norman's audition video for a reality TV show for people in the EDM community looking for love. He just wrapped up filming the show in Colorado.
Even if like I didn't meet anyone there when I was interviewing, that I know that meeting someone could come from it. So, you know, once it comes out, you guys will have to see.
So, Norman is on the market.
Yes, yes, yes.
Looking for love.
Yes.
As hard as it is to admit, Norman says a big part of moving forward in his personal healing was taking a step back from his years-long fight for survivors like him to be heard.
You're trapped in this bubble of grief, and the battle comes from you wanting to not be feeling this way, but you're still trapped in that bubble. So I definitely do feel like a lot of the families and the survivors are stuck in that bubble of grief.
When we first spoke in 2021, Norman talked about the plight of survivors and the concerns they had about the One Pulse Foundation. It's one of the reasons WESH 2 started investigating the foundation and survivors' claims of building and unpermitted problems at the nightclub.
There was no accountability for anything.
Still, Norman joined the advisory committee created by the city of Orlando to come up with a conceptual design for the planned Pulse Memorial. He ultimately made the difficult decision to step down when the process became too triggering.
It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for me in my healing.
Some wounds never fully disappear, but through the pain, survivors like Norman and Leo are still finding reasons to choose joy, hope, and life after Pulse.
It's for the people that were lost there. It's to make sure that their names are forever remembered and that our names are forever remembered, because like I said, we live this every day.
I keep battling it up and keep going and try to make the best out of it and try to laugh, even though sometimes I want to cry. But I just remember that I'm alive and I have life and I'm breathing. I'm good. And I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you. I'm here.